Ladies and gentlemen, he is a guy in this business that's very hard to find. He is a legend, truly, in what he does. He's played every record there's ever been. But the greatest thing about this man is he's the last guy that's going to tell you that. He's unbelievable on the saxophone, a very talented man and a very dear friend, Mr. Jim Horn.
Jim Horn, the quintessential musician, one of the most recorded sax players in the world, a dynamic and commanding stage presence. There are countless ways to describe Jim Horn and his illustrious career, but his incredible body of hit songs speaks for itself. Jim has played on more pop hit records than any other sax player in history. He is the only saxophone player to have recorded with all four Beatles on their solo projects. Let's listen to George Harrison.
Hello, I'm George Harrison. I've known Jim Horn about 17 years now. I first worked with him on a song called Bangladesh, and then later on the concert for Bangladesh. He also did a tour with me in 1974 and has played on almost all my records whenever I've needed a sax player. Great player, and I hope you're going to enjoy his album. In fact, as soon as we finish this interview, he's going to come and play on my latest album. Thank you very much. Is that all right?
Hi, you know me. My name is Ringo Starr. I usually play the drums, but today I've changed my mind. I'm holding this sax, and this is a very nice saxophone, and it belongs to the one and only Jim Horn, who has a new album out, and it's spectacular. Do I get the money now? And Jim and I met in 1971 at Bangladesh, played on the Ringo albums, played a lot on George Harrison's albums, and a lot of other people's albums, but they're the only two people I know. So we're just saying, here's to you, Jim, and all the best. Da, 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 da. That's an English joke.
After being discovered by Duane Eddy, Jim was introduced to the LA session scene.
Some of the first sessions I ever worked on were all live with the musicians and singers, and people like Frank Sinatra really wanted to record that way. And he'd come in and shake hands and ask how you're doing, and thanks for being here. And we really liked the personal touch that we had meeting the artists. No overdubbing in those days. Today we overdub a lot. And I even did a satellite session where I was playing in one town, and Chicago was where the music was all coming through the lines. And the client would tell us what they wanted, and we were literally phoning our parts in that day.
I need someone to love me.
When the English artists came over around the 70s, mid-70s, I think they were influenced by a lot of our music here, and they were looking forward to working with the musicians. I think that the first tour I did out there with Mad Dogs and Englishmen with Joe Cocker was a wonderful situation where you had a lot of American musicians mixed with Chris Stainton and his band from England. And I think the tour that I did with them, everyone learned a little bit from each musician, which was great, and singer. Now Garth Brooks, the concert I did with him, with Billy Joel, standing out there in front of 1 million people in Central Park, that was quite a night, and I don't think I'll ever forget it.
Jim has appeared in concert with the who's who of the entertainment industry. His distinct saxophone and flute stylings have been heard by millions of fans in venues like Madison Square Gardens, Albert Hall, the Monterey Pop Festival, Budokan in Tokyo. Here's Eric Clapton.
Hello, my name's Eric Clapton, and I'm here to talk to you about Jim Horn. He's a great old friend of mine. I don't see enough of him, unfortunately, but he reminds me that we met back in the late 60s at the Fillmore Fillmore West in San Francisco. And we then went on and played Bangladesh together, the Bangladesh concert that George Harrison put together. And I just want to say that I think he's a great guy and a fantastic musician.
Jim Horn is recorded in studios around the world. From the Beatles to Elvis to Sinatra, he has worked on some of the biggest hit records in music history. Jim's sterling studio credits include the Rolling Stones, Elton John, Barbra Streisand, Toto, Stevie Wonder, U2, Diana Ross, The Beach Boys, John Denver, Steely Dan, Leon Russell, Lionel Richie, Aretha Franklin, Joni Mitchell, Garth Brooks, Tina Turner. The list goes on and on.
Hello, I'm Jeff Lynne. I'd just like to say I met Jim Horn doing a session with George Harrison, and I actually found him to be probably the best musician I ever had the privilege to play with. So there.
Jim Horn is the only saxophone player in history to have worked with all 4 Beatles on their solo projects.
I met George Harrison working on the Bangladesh theme for the Bangladesh concert and then played it later on with him. And I also worked with Ringo in Los Angeles, and he was sitting up by the pool there at Richard Perry's, and we sat down and talked about the horn parts, and he just let me write anything I wanted to. He was very easy to work with, great guy. And John was out in Los Angeles, and I worked with him on the Pussycats album with Harry Nilsson, and that was a party. That was a lot of fun. And Paul McCartney is probably one of the best musicians I've ever worked with. In his studio, he would prepare each musician on what they were going to play on the song, walked back in, cut the track in about 2 takes, and that was it. So I think every one of the Beatles are great.
Jim Horn's signature sound is the hallmark by which other players are measured. It is estimated that Jim has appeared on over 120,000 recordings. The countless number of gold albums and Grammy Awards that Jim Horn has been involved with is testimony to a stratospheric career.